Hello YouTube and welcome to another Wildgate video. Today we're doing a tier list on all the weapons, all the shooty guns that the prospectors get to use to kill each other. We're going to talk about each one and talk about why it's good, why it's bad, and of course all of this is my opinion, and while my opinion is gospel and completely fact, feel free to leave yours down in the comments and tell me why I'm dumb. Now if you're looking for competitive Wildgate teammates, also check the description for the Discord for Monolith. Go ahead and join up. If you're looking to play with other people that want to play somewhat competitively and still have fun, that's the place to be. So let's jump into the tier list. Today we have the Doctor. Up first is the only support weapon in the game. This is the only thing currently that can heal other teammates. I'd love to see more gadgets that allow you to heal, but the reality is this weapon only is useful for one thing, and that's trivializing PvE content. If you're the type of team that really wants to go for the artifact, get there first, clear the monolith or wherever the item is at, and blast through the PvE, this is great. But outside of that, the damage is too low for PvP to be useful. The time to kill in this game, especially in PvP, is so low that to have the reaction speed that you need to be able to heal a teammate and keep them up through a fight, you'd have to be pre-healing them. So maybe the meta will evolve where a breacher goes in with a support player healing them from outside and can, kind of face tank the enemy team to kind of clear them out. There might be some value there, but it requires two players. It's very situational. This weapon just generally isn't that good, and I'm going to be editing as I go so that I can, squeeze this into the list, but we'll shrink it down. I don't think that this weapon is very good. I'll put it above average because it has the potential to be good. It has the potential to make certain metas happen that no other weapon can. So that's the Doctor out of the way. Let's talk about the double whammy. The double whammy, I made a suggestion to nerf it. Apparently that has happened in other playtests where it didn't do damage to ships, but this is the only handheld weapon that can do damage to an actual ship. It doesn't do damage to hardpoints specifically, which is what I think it should do, but it does 1 damage per shot, and you get 2 shots per reload. Now, the 2 damage per shot scaled up by having 4 crewmates all running this, with the reload speed incorporated, you can get anywhere between 12 to 16 damage per second on an enemy ship. That is a lot, guys, and there's definitely a meta that's going to evolve around all 4 people having double whammies. It's not going to be super prevalent around launch because people have to go through their unlock cycles, but the double whammy is a problem, and I foresee it being a huge problem down the road. Is it super good when boarding a ship and in PvP directly against other prospectors? No. But the flexibility and utility to be able to do damage to enemy ships, and then also the extremely high burst damage in PvE content is really good. This is the weapon that you pull out to get some big damage in on mini bosses. This is Ion's best friend because the reload speed is so slow. Putting it in his secondary slot is really, really powerful. Now, one downside to this is that reload speed, so I will say that I'm going to knock it a little bit because it feels really bad on characters outside of Ion, but if you're playing Ion, it's really, really powerful. So we'll delete the stats, move it over here. I'd say that this, if you're using it just in a normal way, it's A tier. This is a really solid weapon, well-rounded, good in PvP, good in PvE, but if you're using it in the 4-stack like I was talking about, this would be S tier. This is like game-breakingly good if you 4-stack it, especially with 4 ions. But, I expect it'll either get really nerfed really fast, or people aren't going to be playing that way because it's really cheesy. It's honestly not that fun to do. Next up, we've got the Painter. This is one of my favorite weapons. The Painter is a minigun. It fires really, really rapidly. It does 20 damage per shot. The highest health that a player can have is 120. So that means it takes 6 damages per shot. And if it's ramped up, you're shooting 1 shot every 0.8 seconds. So it's really, really fast. It shoots really, really quickly. The time to kill in reality is about 1 to 1.5 seconds on a player if you're at medium or shorter range. This coupled with the shield, the deployable shield, can mow down enemy crews. This is one of my favorite weapons in the game. Like I said, it's also really, really good in PvE. PvE mobs, especially like the lizard dudes, have a giant hitbox, so the cone of damage, the spread on this thing, even though it's not the best, you're going to be hitting almost all of your shots. So this weapon has the highest damage per second sustained over a long duration, which makes it really, really good for melting bosses and mini bosses and just plowing through PvE content. It's also really good in PvP. I love this weapon. This weapon, the big downside is its range. So if you're going to run this weapon, have something that can poke at distance. Unless you're doing nothing but boarding and trying to avoid long-range engagements like the Plague, like let's say you run the Painter and the Double Whammy, you should have something in your back pocket that can shoot at distance. So we'll delete the stats. Like I said, it's one of my favorite weapons in the game, so I'm going to go ahead and move it over. It's going right into S tier. The Painter is so good. Next up, we've got the Sonic Boom. The Sonic Boom is okay. I'll say that right out the gate. It has decent damage. It has decent time to kill. Problem is, it's really short range. Think of this as the shotgun of the Wildgate world. I've seen it used a couple different times in the playtests. It just got a big, not a big buff, but about a 30% buff to its radius, which is only 0.1 meters. It's not like it's the hugest thing in the world, but it allows you to kind of poke at range. It's a shotgun that can poke at range. The time to kill is not fast enough to compete with other weapons, in my opinion, and the restrictions on distance hinder it a little too much. So I think the Sonic Boom is okay. I'm gonna delete the stats here. I'm gonna move it over. I think that it's okay. I'm gonna put it a little bit below average, D tier. I don't see myself pulling this out too frequently or prioritizing it in any capacity for when launch goes live. I'm recording this before launch in case you guys haven't figured that out. So next up we have the Sidelong. The Sidelong is a little bit weird. It fires a 1.5 meter wide projectile like across your screen. The shots on the side pierce cover, which is interesting. So it can go through walls. If I'm correct, I honestly have never used this weapon and never had it used against me. But the side damage is only 25 and the core damage is only 35. I don't think I see this used at all because it was in a bad unlock tree. The damage is so low that it would take multiple shots, and the damage between shots is 0.4 seconds. So this has some of the slowest time to kill in the game. The ability to shoot through walls is interesting because there are some spots where enemy players are likely to be. If you're running Samo, you could see through walls. This might be something that Samo mains really appreciate because you can track and shoot through walls with it. But if you were boarding, maybe you wanted to shoot through to a turret location, maybe just straight shoot through the glass and hit people through it. But the problem is a high health target is going to take 3 to 4 shots of direct hits to kill, and the time to kill is 0.4, so you're talking about 2 seconds of uninterrupted damage with basically them not reacting or you correcting perfectly. So the Sidelong just, it doesn't do it for many people. Most people would rather get the high damage per second, the high turnover rate, not turnover rate, but the low TTK on a lot of the other weapons. So the Sidelong, we're going to go ahead, delete the stats down here, and move it on over. Oops, wrong one. There we go. Sidelong, I'm going to put down in E tier. It is not the worst weapon. You know, there's definitely some redeeming qualities to it. What I like about Wildgate, small sidebar, is that they're willing to experiment with weird things. Like the healing gun, this Sidelong has the potential to create some weird metas. Where, let's say you run 4 of them, and you run up on a ship, and you know where their crew is, and all 4 of you guys shoot through at the same time. You can one-tap people through the wall. So it has the potential to do some weird things and allow you to experiment, but by itself, it's really not that good. We haven't seen that meta develop yet. Maybe in a couple months or in a couple weeks, this thing will be better than it is. Mark II Blaster, one of the default weapons that you have unlocked in the game, just got a buff. It went from 350 to now 500 meters per second on patch day, so the bullet travel time is much faster, which means it's going to be much more reliable. It already was pretty good. The TTK did not increase or did not get better because of that buff, so the damage is not there still. It is a really good default weapon if you don't have anything else. It's decent in PvE, it's decent in PvP, it has medium to long range, it rewards skill, so if you have bad aim it might not be the best one for you, but the TTK is just kind of mid. Like, I would say that this, they give you it by default because honestly it is a really good all-rounder, so we'll put it right in C tier. It is middle of the road. Now we're coming up on the most controversial weapon in the game. Like you guys know, if you watch my patch notes video, this just received a big nerf, the AIM-E. It got a 50% reduction to its tracking capabilities. It lost 5 damage per shot, which was 15, so now it's 10. That's a 30% or 33% nerf. That's a big deal. And its magazine capacity went from 45 to 30. Which means that you only get a certain amount of shots before you have to reload. It used to be where you could kill entire teams and then have to reload. Now you're going to be able to kill 2 people max before you need to reload, and that is a huge nerf. Now, the auto-aim functionality leads... It means that this does have a place. What this does really well is this tracks at long distance in open space. This is a really good anti-border ship. If you're having problems getting value on your team, one thing that you can always do that is useful is go outside, stand on top of your ship, and wait for them to try and cross the board, and then just pick them out of the sky. The AIM-E does that very well. With the magazine capacity nerfs, the damage nerfs, you can still very reliably kill at least one target, especially at distance. Many people wish that they would add damage fall off over distance with this thing. It looks like that's not the route that they went, which is a little sad, but this thing is okay. One frustrating thing about this gun is I believe that this gun sets the baseline because of the auto aim. So if you have bad aim, you can still be productive, which is kind of a good thing, kind of a bad thing depending on who you ask. I think that everybody that plays the game should have a baseline of value, and I do agree that it needed nerfs, and I don't think these are the worst nerfs, but I would have gone about it differently. I'd say that this gun is above average now. It used to be S tier. It used to be like many people ran it. I'd say that these nerfs bring it down back in line. It's B tier. It's not useless. It's not the best gun in the game. I do think it definitely has its place. And then we've got the beam rifle, the sniper rifle. So this recently received a buff. It used to have 4 shots in a magazine. Now it has 6. It does 80 damage 2 times on critical hits, which means that on a headshot, you're going to one-tap somebody. Now, a lot of people play Sal, or Hal, whatever his name is. Sorry, I always mess it up. And he cannot be headshot, so there's a downside there. He's a very meta pick, and you'll bump into him a lot, which means if you're using this on a boarding team, you're not going to be able to one-tap him in a turret or on the helm. But this can one-tap at distance. This is really good for defending the gap between your ships to repel boarders. This has, with the magazine capacity buff, this is in a much better place. This weapon I would have considered D tier before. I say that this weapon is slightly above average. It's definitely better than a pick like the basic blaster, but not by much. It really is skill dependent. It really is aim dependent. So if you have bad aim, don't go with this weapon. Maybe go with the AIM-E instead. They're around the same value level in my opinion. So we'll put it in B tier. Not the best, not the worst. It's a little above average. And then finally, you guys thought I would forget, we got the Starlance. Many people don't know how this works. There's not much in the game that tells you damage values, and you cannot view this from the main menu. But if you read the patch notes, you know that the Starlance now deals 1,000 damage per shot. The Starlance, you only get, I think, 2 or 3 shots with it before it depletes itself. It's something that you find out in the world as part of your loot. A lot of people would recycle this. This is a guaranteed one-shot on any player at any distance. It's a guaranteed one-tap on any component from any distance through shields. So if you want to knock out 3 of their engines, if you want to knock out a laser ram, if you want to knock out a mine layer that's on the front of their ship, if you want to just specifically target something, this is it. It now does 1,000 damage per shot, which means it can also one-tap the glass in front of a pilot. So I would shoot off a couple shots, or shoot off 1 or 2 shots while traversing over to the enemy ship, knock out an engine, knock out a component, go up to the glass, use the final shot to break open the glass, and kill the pilot. This is the best weapon in the game, but you have obviously a very limited amount of uses for it. It is pretty rare. I don't know, maybe not pretty rare, but you only get a couple shots. So make them count. Best weapon in the game, Starlance, to nobody's surprise. Anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to join the Discord below. And if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Bye.